10 seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore for Friday, June 25th, 2021. Hope you are ready to exit the work week in style. We've got a great guest, CARA NICOLE, on, and I'm going to talk as fast as I can so we can get her back on the air here. And hope the weather's great where you're at. We're going to have a cooling spell today. In fact, I'm seeing and hearing rain outside, so yay. We're not going to kill the grass yet. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here. And as always, we want to thank our sponsor, Plasma Fire Graphics. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Plasma Fire Graphics. Jeffrey Hayes can do it all. He can design a wraparound cover for your book, a comic book cover, the graphics you'll need to sell it on social media, as well as a beautiful book trailer, such as the ones I've got. You'll want him too. And the best thing is he's affordable as well as crazy talented. So please check him out. Do you think he's talented? Check out my latest book, Snow Ambition, #4 in the Snow Short series by Bobby Nash. Check it out. It's a quick read crime thriller that you will enjoy 99 cents right now on Amazon. And Jeffrey Hayes did that cover. Plasma Fire Graphics. Check them out on Facebook and check them out at plasmafiregraphics.com. When the look of your book matters to you, go to Plasma Fire Graphics. Also, we're supported by the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Please subscribe to our Facebook page that you see the address at the bottom. We've got your entertainment and information covered 7 days a week. And tonight we are packed with fun. At 6 p.m. we'll be drinking with the Davies, in which we're going to learn how to make the classic mint julep. Following that is Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles, and we're going to get a debriefing on her South Dakota book signing, hopefully. And then after that is the Historical Fencing Guild with Nicholas Anthony Tockard, where he's going to teach us how to use bladed weaponry and how to kill each other safely. Then tomorrow on Saturday will be Stupid O'Clock at 11 o'clock, followed by Last Man Standing. And then on Sunday night will be Comics, Chaos, and Sass with Heather Ellen. So please check it out. Please subscribe. Please subscribe to all the YouTube channels, which, by the way, if you're watching us live, we do appreciate you. Please leave your comments, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation. It'll be mostly me and CARA this morning because we got stuff to discuss, believe me. And also, if you're watching us on Facebook, please give this video a like if you enjoy any part of it. Please share it with your friends so that we can get this message out. It's pretty important. And also, please give a like to the page that's hosting us as a thank you to them. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube for the better sound and picture quality, please give us a thumbs up if you would. And also, please subscribe to the channel. We are growing rapidly, and we would love to have you as one of our subscribers because we got a lot of good stuff planned down the road. And also want to thank our Patreon supporters. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly. And do you think it's just tossing money at us? No, no, no. We give you stuff for it. If you want to find out what my rewards are for backing me, go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And now we've got someone I love to talk to. She's one of my favorite humans in this whole universe. She really is. And right now she's got a Kickstarter campaign. We've got the address running across the bottom of the screen there. Please check it out. And she's going to talk about this. I'm excited about this. It's a 52 card pinup. And who better to talk about it than the creator of this herself, though let me unmute her. And I have to talk to myself to get things done around here. But anyway, here she is, the one, the only. I love her. CARA NICOLE. CARA, good morning, darling. How are you? Mwah.
Mwah. I am fantastic this lovely morning. I got up early. I walked the dogs. I got my jar of coffee. I like that. I need that coffee cup.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I gotta start sending out some comps here one of these centuries. But anyway, it is so good to have you here. I really appreciate it. And because for CARA, this is not exactly getting up at the crack of noon.
No.
So I appreciate the sacrifice, darling, as always. So
it's the only time it's nice enough to be up.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit 100 in what, like half an hour?
Eek. Please take every precaution, please. I've had heat stroke before, so it's not the most fun thing in the world.
No, we were talking about that earlier, and you'd asked how hot it gets, and it's supposed to be 118, 120, but the fires around the valley have created this smoke cloud that's keeping the sun out. So yes, the fires are cooling us off.
Yeah. Define irony. I believe this is it. So
how do you keep cool? Start a fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Drink a hot cup of coffee. It just builds up your body temperature inside, so it feels like the outside's cooler. You ever heard that one?
Yes. Well, I drink a lot of coffee, so it gives me the water to sweat, and I sweat like a fire suppression system.
Yeah.
I can spray it for yards at a time. So yeah, that's how I do it. But
people tell me to go to hell, and I'm like, oh, what a lovely vacation! I get to cool off.
Yeah, exactly. I live in Arizona. Hell, I'll have a job out at the end of the week down there. So yeah, I'll be running the damn place. So anyway, let's get some more nice words in about your new project, 52 card pinup. I think this is a great idea. I think this is a super idea.
Thank you.
Tell us about this, please.
So I had the idea to do a card deck. I don't know if you intend to have this over our faces, but you can click one of those buttons in the middle and it'll be on the side.
I don't have a single problem at all, Carol. I don't know about you.
I had this idea to do a deck of cards. Well, see, now you're still behind it. We can't see your lovely face.
That's probably for the better. This is a feature I don't use very often. Okay, so
we're learning together. So,
yes.
I had the idea to do a deck of cards. Now, my husband Alfred is like, I don't know anything about cards at all, and he's like, why don't you put those images into a book, and then you have this book that you can sell. And I was like, something hit me, and I was like, have you ever played the game 52 card pickup? And he says, no, I've never heard of that. So now I'm feeling like, were people in my life just being mean to me? And so I asked a few other people. I asked her, you ever played 52 card pickup? You ever played 52 card pickup? And they're like, oh yeah. I know that game. It's like, oh, and he tells me, well, we didn't play cards in Mexico where he's from. We played dominoes. I'm like, you don't want to play this with dominoes. That's a terrible idea. Don't play this with dominoes. You're going to get
hurt someone.
You can hurt someone. So I kind of relayed the idea to him, and he's like, okay, still kind of sketchy about, like, I don't know what you people are doing here in America where, you're playing this game. It's kind of a messed up thing going on here. And so we decided to do both. And the idea that I had was to call the campaign in the book 52 card pinup. I thought it was a cute play on words. And then there was the questions. Do you have enough cosplays to do this? And I'm like, bet me. And I always have boudoir versions. I am not repeating a costume in any card.
I would think you'd have to think about what you'd have to leave out, knowing how prolific you are.
And that's what it was. It wasn't even a matter of I have a Catwoman full costume and a Catwoman boudoir in the same deck. No. There is not one repeat in this deck of cards. Not one.
That's great.
And we even made new things. And this is not just face cards. It is every single card has a different cosplay image on it, including Jokers, Wild, and I threw in an Old Maid.
Oh my God. Oh, Seriously, that is cool. That's from my misspent youth, which, you know, I remember 52 pickup too. That was when your parents couldn't afford a baby. And so it's like, hey, kid, play this game, scatter the cards, now pick them up. Oh, you're done? Fling. Okay, do it again. So I totally get that.
So we actually, what I did do is we shot a few new things, and I had the kings are all me in different like gowns and tiaras.
Right.
You know, the kings are all me. My queens are Fire Bitch, because, you know, she's our creation, and our hostess from our upcoming book, Unstable Frequencies, as well as Elvira and Dolly Parton.
I love Dolly.
Who doesn't? I mean, those
know.
two women are like the angel and the demon on your shoulder.
Oh my God, yeah. I saw you posted a picture of yourself as Dolly, and I've been saying for years, if Dolly Parton didn't exist, we'd have to create her. She is just so awesome. She seriously, you know, she is just like perfection. So
there's a documentary on her on Netflix right now. It is amazing. It's wonderful. Definitely watch it. Worth the watch.
Oh, I bet. I've been a fan of her since Porter Wagner. You know, the old Porter Wagner days. We used to get his syndicated show where I was living at the time. So, but yeah, she's amazing. She really is. No, this is very cool.
I believe, if I remember from the documentary, that I believe when you brought, it took me a minute on Porter Wagner. I'm like, I don't recognize. It's not something I've seen. Yeah. But I believe she wrote "I Will Always Love You" as her kind of breakaway from that show.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, she's crazy talented and just, you know, such a humanitarian and doing so much for literacy. You know, and a great businesswoman. So it's like, oh my God, what is there not to adore about her? So
well, and she's a good, sweet, loving person.
Yeah, she is. And it comes across, and you can tell she's genuine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not any sort of showbiz fakery.
Nope.
You know, so yeah, I worship the water she walks on. So
yes, I love that you said it like that. I worship the water she walks. That's beautiful.
You may use it. So definitely getting back to this, definitely support this project. I plan to, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about it. But last time we talked to you, you were promoting your Fire Bitch comic. Now, how's that coming along?
We are shipping right now. We are in the process. We just packaged about 200 packages yesterday.
Wow.
And we are just shipping. Now, before someone says, how hard is it to put a book in a box? Well, we don't have all of the books. Our printer got through X amount, and now there's going to be a short lull. So we're getting out every single thing we can until he gets back and finishes up our order.
Oh, that's super. I'm looking forward to it because I pledged to that. I'm really excited about that. That is very cool. Now, let's see. Let's look at the comments and say hello to people. Hello, people. Okay, we're done with them. Anyway, the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, arise, Friday Morris Monster. That's a double entendre there. Arise, since you brought on the sexy, sultry, smart, scrumptious CARA NICOLE. It is safe to that I've risen in your place. The one they call Fire Bitch has come to free our world from the evils of ignorance, hate, and the anals. I just read them, folks, of the mind-numbing and mind-altering persuasion of that which they call social and mainstream media. Fight on. There we go. Thank you very much, Christian Basil. 6 p.m. every Tuesday night, The Legend of Traveling TARDIS. Check that out. And good morning to Carl Witzman, Ted Davies Artistry. And yes, I was right. He's going to make up mint juleps tonight at 6 p.m. on Drinking with the Davies. And good morning to Teresa Dunn. It's a rainy Friday. It sure is, but it could be worse. And we could be cooling down from the smoke, you know. Manji Deuce, good morning to you. Hello, Joe Dog McKeel. Check out Stupid O'Clock on Saturday nights. And good morning, Joe D. McPhee from the Desolate Small Press Publisher, who I believe you'll be on his show tomorrow night at 10, correct?
No, I'll be on Jody's show on July 3rd.
Ah, there we go.
Tomorrow night, I'm going to be on Backer Shots with Lola.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Joe Dog McKeel says, just think for a minute. We are trapped on a giant rock spinning through space at 67,000 miles per hour, and we're all going to die. You would think we'd be a little nicer to each other, wouldn't you? And you'd think that Facebook would post more cool stuff. But anyway, and hey, Michaela Jade's not too late for class. And Brian, don't forget to tell Kara about your challenge for July 3rd. Now, Joe thinks that I live to burst in on every appearance you make.
I'm waiting to burst in on any appearance I make.
Oh yeah, see, so Joe, I can't let her down. See, so just deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and let's see, and we got that, and Eric Hawkins of the Zombie for World of Oz. Good morning to you. And let's see, and Ninja Ganko, glad to see you here. Luke Stone Studios, as always. Good to see you. And Comics Talk with Pops Van Zant. And let's see. And here we go. And Christian Basil of the Legend of Traveling TARDIS says, BKM, you want me to toss money at you? You better mount that poll like a Kickstarter that met its goal in an hour.
We met our goal in 5 minutes. 5 minutes,
yes. There we go. So there we go. And here we go. And Christian Illusionist Jake Lindsay has a question for you, Kara. How much does it cost? How much do you add on the average, I would say? Because I know some costumes are more complex than others. How much do you spend on costumes?
If I thought about that, I would cry.
I'm sure.
Let's just say that I'm able to stay in a lower tax bracket due to the deductions. That help?
That helps a lot. There we go. It's between her and the IRS. And on our Twitch channel, we've just started broadcasting on Twitch now.
Oh, good. Wonderful.
Yeah, and Justifella, what is this? Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue, but it's an interactive talk show.
Nightmare. We're coming for you.
That's right. Look out. Yeah, that's right. You haven't dreamed anything like us. I'm telling you now. But no, we are an interactive talk show. You type in your comment, and I could possibly read it on the air, and we will have a conversation. Glad to have you here, Justifella. And and let's see here. And I'm sure she has. But Kara, have you visited Tombstone, Arizona before?
I have not.
Really?
I have not. I really haven't. I need to, but I have not. And COVID hit, and that was like 2 years of not being able to go anywhere. But I need to do that. I keep talking about it, and I just haven't done it yet. It's not like it's near me. It's not like it's like 20 minutes down the road. I think Tombstone's like 3 hours away.
Yeah, and I used to live in Illinois, but I'd never been to Rockford, Illinois, and that was because I'm a Cheap Trick fan. And that's where they're from. And I thought, well, that might be a cool place to visit and see how they honor the locals. Because, I used to live in Champaign, and REO Speedwagon came out of there. So, and they've got, a street named after them and everything. So, I always thought that would be fun. It's not exactly a bucket list thing, but I just thought it would be cool.
Now, I did stand on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, well, and you took it easy. I'm glad to hear that. So, anyway, Legend of the Traveling TARDIS says, Kara, make your card virtual, link up a blockchain, and make them literally valuable. Now, have you looked into the blockchain?
I have no idea what he's saying.
It's like Bitcoin. This is difficult to explain. But it's like there is a collectibles now that are one of a kind. They are virtual, like a JPEG. But you are the only person who can access it. So it's like you get a beautiful painting, like you get like a Van Gogh, and you hang it in your basement, and you're the only person that has it. Nobody else can get in there and look at it if it were for you.
Right, but it's a deck of cards, so I'm like, how would this work? You could
do the blockchain as the entire set or individual images. There is a doctor
who's going to buy that. Like, how much do you even sell that for?
Now that's
Legend of Traveling TARDIS. You tell me how much you're gonna buy it for.
Yeah,
and I'll see if that's worth it for me to go to that trouble.
There we go. Or if nothing else, if you don't want to go to all that trouble, look at the crawl down below and go to Kickstarter, look up CARA NICOLE, and you can get this. It's not virtual. You can hold it in your hand and be sure you wash them first. But anyway,
that's another thing. I think this is a great time to segue into this a little bit. But sure. People ask if I do like nude content or whatever.
Right.
Only physical. Because people will take those images if you post them online and they'll just shove them out anywhere, like the world's biggest circle jerk. You know what I mean? And so if you actually have to purchase a physical product that is going to be mailed to you, it's more of a collector's piece. Yeah. And if you really want to go to the trouble to scan it in, take photos, upload it, like you're really spending a lot of effort to let other people masturbate. Like I didn't realize you cared about the world's sexual health that much. So, or you just keep it for yourself and put it in your collection. So yeah, I do have a nude cover. It is only available through this campaign.
There we go. And to all the people who have been scanning all that stuff, thank you. Anyway, but no. So lonely. But anyway, Scott Crocker says, sorry I'm late. I'm not even going to give a random factoid today because mainly we have an awesome guest and we should be celebrating her and not my dumb nonsense. And
we can celebrate both. We'll share it.
That's right. Yeah, Skunk's had a hard week, and I dig it. I totally understand. So, but Skunk, we're glad you're here, and you are loved, man. And that being said, what did I miss? Just 21 minutes and 56 seconds of awesomeness from Kara. So, and here we go. Steph Wilson. Good morning, Steph. Mwah. Hello, is that super celebrity Kara NICOLE? Why, yes, it is. Very observant of you. And Jake Lindsay asks, now, Kara, how long did it take to make the cards? Now you've done magazines before.
Oh yeah,
and you've done prints and comics and stuff. But what was the different challenge about making cards in this case?
So it was about like lining them out, and basically what we did is we created a template and pulled all the images and like lined them out. And then it was a good couple of days of figuring out what we want where. I tried to organize them in a little bit of a style, like, okay, like all these cards all have dark hair. These cards all have lighter hair. These cards all have like this attitude towards it. So I tried to balance them very well. And I hope that I achieved that. Nice. You can look on the campaign and see every single card in their suit. And then it was like, okay, here's the template and you do it.
There you go. Yeah, I was noticing. I was looking at the campaign last night, and as usual, it is a well-organized campaign. Lots of stuff. It's one of those that where by the end of by the time you're done reading everything and looking at the amazing photography, that you're either going to commit to supporting this project, which I think is worthwhile. I think it's very unique, or you're going to be enduring the fires of internal hell for not doing it.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I'll be back in this one too, Kara. I promise you that. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I should support my friends. So, and Joe Dog McKeel says Brian crashes Kara's appearances. I guess we need to invite her to Stupid O'Clock to get Brian back on. Hint, hint. I will take that hint, sir. But actually, Kara, you would like Stupid O'Clock if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah, Joe Dog, you heard it. You heard her. It's like after the convention, those conversations we all have that they start in a random place and they change, yes. And you don't know where the hell you got to where you are now after an hour. Mm-hmm. That's this. But imagine the same thing with very intelligent people.
I love that. That's like my jam. I think that's honestly, and you can tell me, Brian, you've been in this industry as long as I have, and you've met a lot of people. I think that is one of my downfalls.
Yeah.
That I do have like a mind that kind of goes into intelligent directions. Yeah. And I think it's definitely a disadvantage for me. I think that if I was just fun and cute and totally different, I don't know. But like we've had deep conversations where we think about things and talk about stuff, and I think that in a lot of ways it does hurt me because it's easier to talk to someone that is dumb.
Well, the fact that and I hate to sound this way, but
I know we're going to
you're
go there,
blind.
aren't we?
Yeah, I'll go there. What the hell? I'm elderly. The social media can do nothing to me. But and if they haven't already, they haven't tried. But you're blonde. You're incredibly attractive. So it's easy to pigeonhole you into dumb blonde mode, let's say, or the fact that you wear the cosplay so very well. Okay, and again, you're very attractive. People expect. And this is a societal thing. They expect your IQ to be plummeting. And I tell people yes, I follow your images. I stare at them longingly for hours, I admit. I know. But one of the things I've always adored about you is your wit and your sense of humor. You are very intelligent. You're a joy to talk to. And yeah, we've had some, deep conversations at times. The few times we have been able to see each other in the same place.
Right.
But, I think one of the most beguiling things about you is your intelligence. So, and Kara's like, okay, now here's comes the part where Brian's going to perv again. But anyway, no. But yeah, but it's, and right now, let's get to the heart of it. And people please keep commenting. We're not going to be able to read every comment, but we'll get as many as we can. We'll flash some on the screen. But because we've got Kara here, this is a special occasion. Now, I've noticed, and God knows you have, that right now, a certain social platform is not giving you literally the exposure you deserve. Because, and I say deserve because you work your ass off to promote your projects, to get your message out there, which I dig. That's the heart of what we love here at Rising Tide. The fact that you are proud of what you do, you're proud of the product you make, and you try to let as many people know as possible. But this campaign doesn't seem to be getting the exposure on Facebook that your previous ones, let's take Fire Pitch, for instance. I delighted to see that, every time I clicked on, there was a Fire Pitch message. And I was, we were happy to share it and everything, but, you had people, sharing it and people commenting on it. But I noticed that I haven't seen quite as much of the 52 card pinup, and you've noticed it too. Now, why do you think that is?
They're pulling him down. They're flat out saying this is spam, this is spam, this is spam, this is spam. And they're like, well, we need to protect people from fake products. It's like, but it's a real product. It's not a fake product. It's real. Like, I'm even showing, actual, like, look, here's the book. Like, this is the thing. Yeah. They don't want anyone leaving Facebook. So they've learned to catch that Kickstarter link, even the short link where it's the KCK. So I actually have a new link. If you go to www.caranicole.club, they pull it less. But they really have just, they're pulling images from years ago. So, like, if I post the same image as Alfred, because we come from the same IP address, they see it as spamming. They see it as scam. And it's just horrible. It's like, okay, but you'll promote children on TikTok dancing naked. Mm-hmm. And I don't say children like 4-year-olds. I'm talking about, like, right. A 14-year-old girl in her panties. You'll promote that. But you won't let my business page, where I pay for advertisements as well. They're like, oh, they want you to pay. I am paying. I'm absolutely paying, because that's how you run a business. But this is the bullshit that I'm getting.
That's totally crazy. That's why, folks, if you like what Kara does, when you see the promotion for this, please share it on your page. That's the only way we're going to get around a lot of this. And also, I'm going to change the banner first chance I get. So it reflects the new address. So I just thank you, sweetie.
Actually, you have it at Kickstarter. I mean, the address you have is fine. But
Okay.
I got a secondary address for me to use, so it will go to the Kickstarter.
Okay. I wrote it down. I'm making a note of it. So
That's just a tip for you guys in the future to get it, buy a domain and then have the domain ported over.
mhm.
So it's a big mess right now. Someone brought up Wish.
Yeah.
Wish still exists, literally sells knockoff BS garbage, doesn't match up to it. That's true. Wish will take photos of cosplayers that I know in their costumes and be like, oh, we're selling this costume. It's like, but you didn't make that. Why don't you have to show what you made? So another thing that a lot of people are like, oh, you just want to make money. I don't get any of this. Like, I get to, like, I'm still drinking coffee from a jar. When you support my campaigns,
She's begging me for one of these, folks. What does that tell you?
maybe you're supporting companies like Gemini, who's a family-owned business who created this great box for shipping comics specifically. You're helping to support a family-owned print shop and pay for their kid to go to hockey, to the paper store that hires people in our area, to the people that I hire to help with my shipping. So you're supporting a huge network. My comics, you're helping to pay for artists. We're using a lot of this money to pay for artists for our next book, Unstable Frequencies, which has already started on production. We've gotten artists involved, and we have people doing pinups and people doing pages and that sort of thing. So you're paying for everybody to stay employed, you're not just giving a girl a bunch of money. This money is getting distributed through our artist network and helping to keep what we do alive.
That's definitely right. And you made a good point about most social media, not just Facebook, but they want you to stay there. It's like Walmart. Why do you think they carry clothing and groceries and electronics? They want you to stay inside the physical confines of that place, and that's why they're also offering like streaming services soon and all that.
Why don't they offer a crowdfunding service?
And I have heard that Facebook wants to start one. They want their own crowdfunding service because they've got their own version of Zoom, for instance, although they've dropped that. They've got their own version of YouTube through the Facebook Live thing. They've got their own version of eBay, even, because
they also
or at least
have
for a
their
while.
own. They've got stars. Have you been hit up about stars?
Yeah,
so people can tip you now through Facebook, but nobody knows that you can do it. So
yeah, they're real good about announcing these projects and not telling anyone until you read it from like a third-party source that actually pays attention to this crap. Or what I find a lot of time is that it's a clearly inferior product. Like I never cared for like the rooms and stuff.
Sorry,
compared to like what. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting? Oh, okay. Anyway, but they offer these services, but they're not quite as good as the original. Because they just kind of like rushed out a knockout of it, but they want to be all things to all people.
Yes.
So, and that's.
And you can't be everything to everybody. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be cheating on your wife, Zuckerberg. I mean, did I say that?
Oh, gosh. Did I hear slander here? It's CARA NICOLE at anyway. But we've got some more comments here, and we'd love to hear your opinion too. Steph Wilson says CARA is such an intelligent, creative, and kind person. I will second that emotion. And Legend of Traveling Tar is stickiest Fezcam ever. And it could be. Anyway, and her brain is quicker than the snap of a bear trap, says the Ninja Genko.
But the snap of a bear trap is less dangerous.
That's true. Forget what they tell you in the movies. And Christopher Zagara says, huzzah, my morning is better with a dose of CARA Live. And JT Malloy says, bonjour to you. And Steph Wilson says, Facebook should spend more time cleaning up fake porn profiles.
Right. So, and that's another thing that's very interesting is that they will not let you report a message. So women, we're getting sexually harassed incessantly, and there is no way to report that this is happening. There's no way to say, hey, Facebook, this guy sent me a picture of his junk, and here it is, and have them shut that person down. Or, oh, this person threatened to rape me, and have them shut it down. Absolutely none. But I post a picture and say, hey, go check out my Kickstarter. That's spam. You can't post that.
Yeah. that's totally insane.
It absolutely is. And people are like, well, go somewhere else. But you're not there. How am I supposed to talk to you? Giving up on Facebook is like giving up on everybody who is a part of that community. And I think that when you get to a point where the community has taken over and the community is building you, we should definitely have a say.
I agree. And that's I get that too. When I start complaining about social media, we'll go someplace else. Where? MySpace? Yes. Where else is there to go when this has become the hub of social media?
Yeah.
And then things like Instagram and stuff. Well, it's owned by Facebook. So where am I going to go? I'm still going to go to another platform, but you think my spam is bad here. I can't even post a link on the individual posts that I make there. So if I've got like this kick-ass project, I'm just going to have to send you to my profile page. And the whole goal of this, what we do, is to make this as simple for the consumer as possible to get. So, that's why I post, the link to, go directly to the Kickstarter and support it. So, Skunkcracker says, I think it's amazing that Skunkcracker is one of the people on one of the regulars on Stupid O'Clock, by the way. I think it's amazing that what you create is considered a fake product, and yet Wish still exists and literally sells knockoff BS garbage that doesn't even match up to what the picture looks like. And they don't want anybody leaving Facebook, but they'll totally screw over one of their own users. That makes sense. That sort of corporate mindset has always ruined everything. I can't help but agree with that. So, and John B. Pica, good morning to you. Says Facebook is launching Facebook podcasts and Facebook live audio rooms. Yippee. And Facebook dating too. So anyway, let's see. Oh, and Joe Dog McKeel, how do I contact Kara for an appearance on Stupid O'Clock?
You hit me up. Just message me.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. You're on YouTube.
He's on YouTube and on Facebook.
Okay, yeah. Just message me through my fan page or my personal page, and
yeah, and I will vouch for Joe Dog. I really will.
And you're friends with Brian, so I'm on his friends list.
Yeah, exactly. So, and if you have trouble still, Joe, just get in touch with me, and I'll send you a link to her page. So it's all good. We will make this happen. And Ace Bonnie says he'll support Kara all day long. Good. Well, you see the address at the bottom of the page. Get you a deck of cards. There are all kinds of fascinating games you can play. Put down the iPad and play cards like I used to in my misspent youth. And Christopher Zagara says, I support cosplay. Good for you. And Skunk Rocker says, though I mean that creates bigger issues, I'm just now realizing it, and I'm still mad. I'm just mad, Kara. I'm mad that this is happening. Yeah, that's it. And going back a little, Skunk says, really what Facebook should do is provide a platform for social media and then maintain the servers, and that's it. I'm sorry, it's survival of the fittest if you're stupid enough to fall for a scam. Well, there's too much of that on there, and it makes it harder for people with legit business and legit products.
This is a good point, though. I think this is a very good point, and I think that they can monitor that. Like maybe if you have a crowdfunding campaign or a product that you have to submit that product for approval, like, hey, see, this does exist. If you show a Kickstarter, it exists. So what about Wish? Wish, show me that you made this outfit. Oh, you can't. And the thing is this is big corporations going against small businesses. I don't want anyone to think that this is just, Kara's complaining to getting you and seeing your feet. No, this is a big problem. This is them running out all of you with Etsy stores and with crafting tables and new comic books that you're trying to put out. This is hurting all of us because you know what? The big W and the big M and the golden arches and the D and the C, they get all of the play. Nobody ever says, oh, you know what? I don't see the McRib coming out all the time. It's not a regular part of your menu. It's a scam. Nobody ever says that. They will never get shut down for one of their posts, but you will, and I will. So then you go to your personal page, and you know what they do? You can't sell on your personal page. then stop throttling my business page. So it's really, they are trying to hurt us. They want us to rely on Amazon, Walmart, McDonald's, Marvel Comics, Disney. They want to give them everything. And what happens when they own everything? Then that means the only place there is for us to work is for them. And they pay our legislators and our congressmen to decide how much we get paid and how we live. And it turns into the United Corporations of America. And so when you decide, oh, my kid's going to have a lemonade stand, they're the ones that are going to say, no, they're not. How dare you? You're infringing on our money. And the thing is, then when everything you make goes back to them, this is a big problem.
Preach. Yeah, seriously. And I'm glad you mentioned other platforms. I mean, yeah, we're ragging on Facebook, but you're right. It's a larger problem. For instance, I'm a big fan of public domain. Public domain serves a perfect purpose in that I tell people if it weren't for public domain, Romeo and Juliet we'd have, but we wouldn't have West Side Story. Forbidden Planet, one of the most honored films, science fiction films in history, is based on The Tempest by Shakespeare. How many great works that we enjoy today have been inspired directly by things that are in the public domain? I'm
glad you brought that up, Brian.
Oh, really, Kara? Why is that?
So, did you hear that Disney is trying to copyright the names of the Norse gods?
I heard that. Yes.
Like they're literally trying to copyright people's religion.
Yeah.
Seriously,
there are people that still worship Thor and the Norse pantheon. You're absolutely right.
They built their entire company off of public domain, and now they want to copyright it and make it theirs?
Yeah. Well, years ago in gaming, there was a company that was one of the largest in the role-playing gaming system. They brought out a World War II game, and they tried to trademark the word Nazi. And there was a thing about 3 or 4 years ago where somebody was writing a line of erotica that they published through Amazon, and they managed somehow to get a not a trademark, but a service mark, which is very similar, on the word cocky, because every title was a takeoff on the word cocky. And then the person who managed this was going around to other small press people, and saying, well, you owe me money because you used the word cocky on your cover. Yeah, to hell with the idea that it happened. The other person put out their book 5 years before. There's a thing in law called ipso facto. And it got to be a real mess, and the trademark office dropped the thing. But there are people all the time. I see people that are trying to trademark letters of the alphabet.
Yeah.
Going back to public domain, Congress extended the copyrights back in the 90s. Sonny Bono of Sonny and Cher, he was part, and if of course he was a songwriter back in the day. So if he's got he's got a conflict of interest there, because now he's got "I Got You, Babe" for another 20, 30 years, or his.
Well, estate. Superman should be public domain by now.
So should Mickey Mouse.
Yep.
And who do you think are the two main organizations that have been dropping money into the politicians' pants for decades to extend the copyright, phase? I'm seeing this too. I've been seeing this for years, that the larger corporations are trying to put a stranglehold on individual business people.
Yeah, they are.
Because at one point, Steve Jobs was an individual marketing a computer. Bill Gates was the same way. We all started out, tiny little acorns in the business forest, but some people got all the sunlight and the water and nutrients they need to become like a giant oak. And now they're making sure that nobody else can do the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's why this fires me up. This really does. because what you do, what I do, what so many people in our comments here do, are they're in business for themselves. Whether it is they're trying to leave the day job or they're just trying to get a couple bucks in their pockets, go out to dinner once a month, sort of thing. But the fact is, if we let this sort of corporate BS go on, we're all in trouble. And part of this goes down to sharing information, which is why, everybody's probably sick of hearing me say, please share this message. It's the only way we're going to get this thing out, because, we talked about throttling. I ran some tests a couple of years ago with my broadcasting where before I learned about backlinks and all, I would put in, go check out this thing. We're going to talk about this project. Here's the address outside of Facebook. Mm-hmm. And I was monitoring my views, and I lost 90% of my views every time I put in an outside link.
Yep.
Yeah, and I did the A/B tests and everything. So, that's how Facebook works. And how often can you get a human to bitch to?
No, you can't. And that's something that I think that needs to change. If you recall, there was a time when they were discussing the validity of telemarketing and robocalls, right, and if you should be allowed to do that. And they found that it would infringe on the company's rights or whatever to not be able to robocall you, if I remember correctly, what ended up happening. But the difference is they try to compare it to door-to-door salesmen. A door-to-door salesman has to get up and walk to your door carrying all their shit, knock on your door, and try to speak to you, okay? Mm-hmm. A robocall is a computer calling thousands of people. If you want to have telemarketing, you should have to have a person literally punch in that number and make every single phone call. We need to stop with the robotics doing everything. If you're going to have a company that involves any kind of customer service, you should have to have human people available to speak to, not a damn computer. That means I should be able to say, hey, there's a problem with this, and a human should have to look up my case and figure it out. And that's going to create more jobs or less of these chokeholds, because now when you get these, oh, there's a problem, we're deleting this, and you go and say, there's a problem with my account. They say, oh, we'd love to look at that, but because of COVID, we can't. Really? You can't hire people from home to look at this? You're full of shit. You just don't want to, and you're using it as an excuse. And this crap needs to stop. You brought up public domain. I got popped on Twitch for showing Night of the Living Dead, the original. Guess what? That is public domain.
Yeah.
It is. It's not old enough to be, but because they didn't properly license it, it went straight to public domain. Exactly. So I was perfectly free to show that movie, and they pulled it anyway because they don't know better. And your lack of education should not infringe on my rights to do what I want to do.
Exactly.
Legally.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, you're seeing more and more robots, like on Facebook, like on Instagram, like on YouTube. Unless you're like a PewDiePie or one of the big wigs on there, you don't have a human contact with the management. And the thing is, you're spending money to get your message out, Kara. And I would think somebody somewhere, you should have an option that I'm tired of dealing with a robot. I want to speak to somebody with a pulse. Yeah. That's just crazy. But the thing is, unfortunately, it's a cost cutting factor, because robots don't ask for days off. Robots don't unionize. Robots don't ask that you respect their robotic rights.
Not yet.
Not yet. That's what Magnus Robot Fighter was about, people. The robots will rise up and kill us in our sleep. You just wait.
The thing is they are deciding who lives and who dies in this industry.
It's true.
And when they, and if they do become, not to get all conspiracy theory or anything, but if it does get bigger, they're literally going to be deciding who lives and who dies in this world.
Yeah.
We don't have the medical resources for you. When a robot starts looking at your medical records, determining what medications you get, determining what treatments you're going to get, and determining your value in that regard.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No. I'm not paranoid in that regard, or going all flat earth on everybody. But no, you raise an important part. As we lose the personalization between humans, and we're already seeing it, it's not going to get better, this whole situation. And we're already seeing it in how we treat each other online. I mean, back in the day, if somebody said something stupid, chances are you could drive over their house and punch them. But now you've got all these keyboard warriors who sit in mom's basement. Yeah, I'll generalize. Sit in mom's basement in their underwear, and just because somebody else is achieving something or having some sort of happiness, they think it's zero sum, and somehow you're robbing them of their joy, and so they're going to do everything they can to troll you or whatever. And I'm sure you get that too. Well, you've already mentioned you get internet threats. You get the less classy pervs on there going after you.
You want to be a perv, at least be classy about it. I like that.
I try. I do try. So you got to wear a fez, guys. That's all there is to it. So anyway, and we've been flashing some of your comments on here, people. Facebook, as far as being for creators, is BS. As much as YouTube, it's not that great. Creators have a better chance on YouTube.
They don't. They're just as bad. They decide. I have tons of music videos up there. They don't show anybody shit. Like, no. My YouTube is really no. And the thing is then you have to take those same videos and you have to post them onto Instagram TV, and you have to post them on Facebook. So now you're spreading it out. I get more feed posting it on IGTV and more feed on Facebook than I do on YouTube. They've decided, and YouTube will even pull down my Sunday shows, my brunch shows with the girls. Yeah. It's literally like a bunch of women talking, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're selling sex toys." I'm like, no. Yeah.
It's, if nothing else, they need somebody to program these bots a lot better.
They always, and I've had Facebook do that too, just like looking at me. They think that I'm do you know how many times I've gotten messages saying that I got pulled because I'm selling sex toys?
I can only imagine. And you don't do that. You don't do that. There's not a line of CARA NICOLE vibrators. I would probably buy one, though, if there were. Just saying.
If there was a line of CARA NICOLE vibrators, there would not be any to sell because I would have them all. No, I'm kidding.
I have my rated the show is rated M for mature audiences on my other feed here, unfortunately. But what the hell? That's why I love you, Kara. That's why I love you. And Christopher Zagra says all they tell you to do is block those accounts. Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like same thing for me as a writer, and I'm sure you get this too, with file sharing. If I would try to take down all the places that have my work online, that's all I would do all day, and that I couldn't keep up with it. I just have to write off and tell. Yeah. His
comment comes from the messages that we get. Yeah. And like, oh yeah, they block. It's victim blaming. So if someone like rapes you on the street, well, don't go down that street anymore.
Yeah,
just block them. Like,
yeah. There should be something to in place. If we're going to have bots in place, this may sound 1984 and pretty intrusive, but I think this might be something to consider. If somebody says, I'm going to do this terrible thing to you, I want the bots to get them. So I don't even see that message.
I will tell you though, if you comment and say that someone's ugly, they will pull it from harassing. Like someone can like make cringe faces at your photos and be like, but if you say, well, your baby's ugly, then you're harassing. So you can get attacked, but if you retaliate, then you're pulled.
Yeah, you're a bully. Yeah.
I
get it.
You're threatening.
Exactly. William Quinton from YouTube says, could you imagine Facebook as a crowdfunding platform? I wonder how those pages would look. Plus, how would that even work? Group-specific pages? It's a weird idea, but probably coming. It wouldn't surprise me if they try it, because there's a lot of money passing through Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and GoFundMe, and Facebook is probably thinking, the corporate eye want that. So, which is really the whole thing. And I'm sorry I can't get to everyone's comments this morning, but we're we're talking some deeper issues here, I think. So, and hey, Brian and Kara from Glenn B. Fleming, good to see you, Glenn. And here we go. And yeah, go to LinkedIn, MeWe, Parlor, Rumble, Clubhouse. Yeah, right.
So if you go to Parlor, first of all, in order to be like a part of that community, you have to show your ID. So where's your privacy in that? And secondly, in my business, if they find out you have a Parlor account, you will be shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was trying to explain this to somebody that because of events in the last year, Parlor has a reputation, whether it's earned or not, as being arch conservative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they're part of the group that's, January 6th. They're part of the group that stormed the Capitol.
LinkedIn knows a good idea, and I'm seeing more people being active on LinkedIn. It's a little bit of an oddity, but it used to be like, here's your resume, and then you end up with like all these job offers for weird places that have nothing to do with what you do. But LinkedIn is becoming more of a social media presence. Exactly.
Yeah, and there doesn't seem to be quite the crackdown on there that there is on other media.
Yeah.
As long as you keep it business-like. But, if you're promoting a project, it's a good place to go. It really is. It's just a little drier than Facebook could be, and I'm not saying that as a complaint. Legend of Traveling TARDIS says, I've said before and I say it again, if Twitter actually promoted its values, there would be only 8 people left. None of them would be politicians, celebrities, nor working for Twitter. Yeah, Twitter's a hot mess there. It really is.
I can't follow anything. People will comment on something like, where did this come from? And it's like daisy chains and this weird... and I can't keep up with Twitter. I am hearing, though, that Tumblr is not dead. I was really surprised because I thought Tumblr was just gone. And a friend of mine told me she's on Tumblr every day. And what happened is they wanted no nudity. And so they shut it all down, and there was a backlash. Everyone is showing anything they can to be like, well, it's not nudity.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy cats! I
don't know. I'm going to do some investigating on that one.
Yeah, let me know. I'll do some too. We'll compare notes. Because when I first heard that they were, a lot of people were treating it as my own private personal porn site, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do. But when they said, "Oh, we're not having that anymore," I thought, well, you're gonna, you ought to start advertising tumbleweeds now because that's all you're going to find on there.
Tumbleweeds.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm glad that people are on there and making something of it, because it was a good service, and you didn't have that 15-second window to see like a relevant tweet. And now Twitter is just like the keyboard warrior's favorite place. So I don't think I have posted anything original in there months because I just don't want to get caught up in the drama.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to do my thing and help my friends do their thing too. And Christopher Zagaris says Facebook promotes in quotes OnlyFans, but takes down promotional links for OnlyFans. Yeah, they do that for a lot of other products too. Like, they're suppressing.
I've never heard anything about Facebook promoting OnlyFans. Everyone I know, they have to like change the word. Hey, Only Pals. Hey, OnlyFans. They're changing it. And Facebook's actually pulling that too. They're like, if they think that you're writing things in a way to trick somebody, then they'll pull you too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's I know that's why I call them the forbidden sites. And then I say that and people are like, what do you mean the forbidden sites? Like, because Facebook doesn't allow you to talk about them. I do use OnlyFans as a way to promote as well, because you can message everybody. You can post freely, but they even have things that they will not let you say. They will not let you use. Someone messaged me saying, hey, I met you at this convention. And I wanted to say hi. And I tried to say, it was nice to meet you. Right. Nope. Can't use the word meet.
Really?
Yep. So I had to change it MEAT. I'm like, oh my God, I sound like a moron.
Yes, I did graduate from 6th grade. Yeah.
Right. You can't use the word jail. Like, there are words you cannot use, and I can understand because they did hit such a heavy pornography industry that people will want to meet you to hook up with jailbait, whatever. So I get that sort of thing, but yeah, so that's what I've been kind of dealing with on that. but I do use it as a way to promote. But people are so used to that instant content. Can I have it now? Can you send it to me now? Can I have it on digital? Like, and that's the thing is they want to keep you there. The thing is you're going to ruin your eyes. Your hand is going to cramp up. Like, give it 30, 40 years, that whole generation. I'm telling you, invest in arthritis medication, invest in Asper cream, invest in anything for, for cramping of the hands, and eyes. Like, invest in eye medications, because everyone's going to be blind and have crippled hands from all of the masturbating and watching the fucking internet.
I have no idea what you mean. Anyway, so but no, that's very true. That's very true. But that's one of the reasons I love my Patreon account. Now, Patreon has their own rules too.
Yes.
But your Patreon account is what, AZ Power Girl, right?
Yep, I'm AZ Power Girl everywhere. I do have a Patreon, and what I do on Patreon is, so my Patreon is more for people that are like members of the club. And every Tuesday night we have movie night. We'll open up Zoom. We'll watch a movie together, rip on it, talk, and we've got a lovely group of people that we all catch up with each other, and it's been wonderful to see this community built. But there are things that I can't post publicly, or I love this. If I make a public post, like all the thirsty women come out. Like, I want to play with your bobs. I want to shoot with you. Sexy. It's like, no, you're posting that because you want to try to take my fans. It's fucked up. And I'll see that all the time. Like, women will do that and they'll compliment other women, but it's like, you're not complimenting me. You're not even a real account because you've got 3 people and you've been up for 4 years and you're pulling crap off the internet. Yeah. You're a total scam artist and you're just trying to take my people. So that's why I tell people, like, hey, I don't know these bitches. Right. Like, if I know somebody, I will tell you about her and I will promote her. These bitches, I don't know these bitches. And they're just thirsty and trying to and I see people do that on YouTube. Oh, go like this video. Go like my, Oh, yeah. And I get a lot of people posting porn links on my YouTube comments.
Believe it or not, I get that too. I get that notice that, so-and-so from Yugoslavia has just posted this weird address. And I've never gone on to them because I'm sure it's like some sort of Russian porn site. So,
right.
And it's, and it's almost like file sharing. You're going to spend all day just trying to keep up with that.
So John here says, here's the solution. Host your own website and have quick links on the front page and send everyone to your website from Facebook. That's the problem. If you put a link to your website on Facebook, Facebook will throttle you back and not show anybody. I have a website. I have a web store. I have so many links. They will not show it because that will take people away from their website.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, I did the same thing. I'm just now putting in backlinks to all my various things, and I know it's going to get suppressed. And in fact, I have seen my audiences, go down just a little bit since I started doing it, but I figure this is my best strategy, so I'm going to keep going with it. And John B. Pica says, we want her on back of the cereal box Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Because John knows I will mention it. but no, it's a cool show. And contact CARA directly. Joe Dog McKeel says they block the possibility of a link because they can't get a cut, anything made on it.
That's
exactly right. Exactly. And Rick Bradley says, CARA laughs at a lot of my jokes, so of course I love her. And and for those who came in late, what we're talking about is throttling of messages on Facebook and other social media and the struggles of trying to get your dang business message out unless you're spending like crap tons of money. And let's see here. I don't understand this question, Jake. CARA, do you have a stage-sized version of the cards for a 200-person audience?
No, but I am a stand-up comedian, so why don't you just bring me on stage with you?
Well, there we go. See, we've got it now. And posting and liking from YouTube. Thank you, back of the cereal box. Appreciate it. And CARA Nicole, as a comedian, would be fired. She is funny. She's a fun lady, obviously. And America's always been owned by corporations. This is not a new thing. And you bet the Ninja Gecko, she does know her shit. And Rick Bradley says, even when you pay for their advertising, I don't feel like they put it in front of as many people as they say. Yeah,
I agree.
Yes,
I agree. And I do a lot of research on who to promote to, and they've actually taken a lot of that down. A lot of the places that you used to be able to tag, even if they have the check mark, they still won't allow you to tag there. It's a mess.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And Skunk Cracker, yes, we are skipping through comments simply because we're getting, because of the volume, we're getting comment dump after comment dump, and I can't keep up with it. I admit it. But so we're just trying to get the ones that I see here. But please don't give up on Skunk. It's nothing personal as usual. It's the host. It is the host's incompetence. We can all agree on that. So anyway, Joe Dog McHale says the Jungle River website is another site that has taken over the internet. They own a huge portion of the cloud. Okay, and now we've got this is kind of a change of pace here, but Christian illusionist Jake Lindsay, who does magic tricks to spread the gospel. I wish I was as confident as Kara. Please give me advice on how to be more confident, in all honesty. Kara, you are like a goddess of confidence here. So what would you say for somebody who's fairly new in their career? What would you recommend?
I would tailor this comment directly to him. Now it says Christian illusionist, which means that he is a Christian, correct?
Correct.
So Christian, what I'm going to say to you is God put you here for a reason. And if you are not confidently spreading his word, how can anyone else believe what you're saying? So you are doing him a disservice by not being confident. He gave you these talents and these abilities to spread his word. And if you're not living up to that, you're not doing your job as a Christian.
There we go. And the same could be said for all of us in the public field, that we dishonor our powers that be when we do not spread the gifts that we have been given. So, Kara, thank you for that. That was beautiful. Seriously, darling. And Bill Sarton says George Orwell should be required reading for just what you're talking about. We were warned so long ago. And from the desk of a small press publisher, again, getting closer to the novel Brave New World and the conditions in V for Vendetta. Let's see. Here we go. And JT Malloy says, yeah, it's a joke. Big tech, legacy media, bought politicians. It's all in cahoots. Yeah. I hate saying to sound like a conspiracy theorist with the Charlie Day Sylvia, but that's where I'm at lately. You know, when you study how things work in the modern world and have worked for so many decades, it is hard not to feel this way. You know, it's like I grew up in Illinois, and I was becoming aware of the world right after the 1960 presidential election, which, if anyone studied that, basically the Chicago political machine delivered Illinois to John F. Kennedy because of the old jokes about dead people voting, and things. Yeah, and it's like if that doesn't get you paranoid, I don't know what can. And that's exactly. See, we're warning you people, but no, it's like that stuff goes on. I remember what was it a recent election when I was still living in Illinois. They went to one poll and it had been closed for like 2 hours. They said, "Oh, there's something wrong with the polling machines." So somebody from the polling authority went in, found out that somebody had unplugged all the polls,
and nobody thought to go plug it back in.
Well, the people who could have plugged it back in had an interest in the voting not happening. So. Let's see. Here we go. And let's see. And here we go. Amy Hale. We're going to try to get a variety of comments here. So that's as bad as certain authors trying to trademark everyday words so no one else could use it. See, that was the cocky gate we were talking about earlier. And here we go. Legend of Traveling TARDIS is going to mess with everyone by purchasing every single word in the dictionary. Good luck. And here we go. And Molly, good morning to you, Molly. Lurking while I try to upload her newest book later. Going to start all over from scratch on the website. See if that fixes the issue. Good luck with that, especially if we're dealing with Amazon anymore. And let's see. And Christopher Zagaris, yeah. And even fair use. You talk about the parody laws. Fair use is something every creator should study, because it's not just quoting that one passage from the copyright laws. There are 4 different tenets to it, and you have to pretty much get by with at least 3 out of 4 anymore. Study the case of a recent case, Carl Benjamin versus Akilah Hughes, which was a big YouTube thing a couple of years ago. And it's a textbook case on how much you can use, how you use it. That's the key. And Rick Bradley, money talks, but they only listen to large amounts. That's true. And here we go. Now, Joe Dog McKeel, I wanted to bring him up. I got hit on a copyright strike for showing a public domain video that was brought out of public domain by NBC Universal 2 months after he showed it. So, this is the corporate thing all over again. And the thing is also, Facebook is now going back and looking at stuff you've done like years ago. Yeah, I can, Kara. I got your message. So I will. You go use your Hail Pail. I'll take it till you get back. Okay. And now's the time when we market our podcatheter. If you do a lot of broadcasting like I do, you're going to want the Rising Tide Industries podcatheter. So anyway, let's get to some of your comments, and thank you all for being understanding this morning. We've got a lot of stuff going on and a lot of issues to discuss. And JT Malloy, we're not allowing shameless promotion for your issue number 2 on Kickstarter, the Sapphire Spectre issue 2, which looks like a great read there. So no, we are not going to promote that, JT. Sorry, that's not what this morning's for. And good morning to you, Grant Lankard. Glad to see you here. Rick Bradley says big companies are all about creating jobs unless it dips into their pocket. Yeah, why do you see so many? The only way you can get in a Walmart, like every Walmart I've been in the Midwest up till recently, has been, they had like 4 or 5 checkers, and there'll be like huge lines waiting to get through at rush times. And you don't have that as much anymore because most of them are self-serve anymore. So, and happy Friday to you, City Cap. Mwah, good morning, CKOEPP.com. Please check out her newsletter. It is the best in the industry and should be going out today, correct? I'm going to be looking for it. And thank you, Cindy. We will flash these as much as we can. And speaking of flashing, there's a legend of the traveling TARDIS when it comes to the telemarketing. I heard someone argue it was trespassing. You called me and entered my home via phone, and I didn't consent to this call on my private property. The thing is, that is one aspect of it. But another thing to consider is that everyone in America has the right to speak their mind. And JT, thank you for the friend request. I'll take care of that when I get back. Anyway, everyone has a right to speak, but not everyone has a right to be heard. And so I don't pick up the phone. So anyway, she's back as if by magic. Kara, thank you. I've been vamping as best I can. And Eric Hawkins says the Disney Loki thing stems from them stopping an artist from selling a Loki shirt, which he copied from a Loki comic cover, same colors, designs, and font. Well, all they have to do is send him a cease and desist letter and remind him that they own all the money that AT&T now doesn't own. So,
well, but now that's an interesting one. I mean, and I'd like to see this. I want to see this this cover, because the fact that they say Loki is parody. Mm-hmm. You don't own colors. Mm-hmm. Fonts, like we can just open up Photoshop and get fonts ourselves. So I don't know. And actually, by threatening this guy, they're giving him more business.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see this cover or this shirt.
Yeah.
To see what the deal is.
Yeah. Now that's the one thing. If Marvel/Disney were saying, okay, we're going to make sure that our version of Loki is protected. I get that, because that's why Ted Turner back in the 80s was colorizing all those classic films like Casablanca and Citizen Kane and Arsenic and Old Lace and stuff, because you couldn't copyright the public domain stuff. But if you created a new version of it, that can be copyrighted. So, he couldn't be ripped off for that. So, it's like the Superman cartoons from Fleischer back in the 40s. The originals are in public domain because, again, the process for copywriting was different. You had to file papers, and because the studio went out of business and the studios were changing hands and all, the renewal was never executed. So that's why those are in the public domain. But DC cleaned them up. So if you run them, then you're in trouble. So anyway, and of course, everyone should own a copy of this book because Cindy kept said so, and I agree. So anyway, and we've got a whole bunch. We will be flashing these on here. Please, and right now, Kara had a good message earlier. It's never been more important to support small businesses. There are some things that do come from big business that we all appreciate. But somebody like Kara, who's got this incredible project, the 52 card pinup thing, which I think is genius. We need to support people like her. So please do so. We've got the address at the bottom of the screen here. And hey, Brian, don't diss on Yellow Flash or Nerdrotic. Hey, one day they came from my Pornhub and I said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Dastardly Dingoes and nerd culture. And you'll hear more examples of small level businesses, doing podcasts and such. So anyway, yeah, there we go. And BKM, of course, you're using that word keyboard warriors loosely. Those are the last people you'd call on for any war. Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine the future wars all being done digitally?
Oh my God, Carol, we got you, me, and Alfred. We got to work on this book. I am seeing wait a minute, they just made our likes go down. Well, we'll send our warriors into. I don't know how you'd make a visually exciting book of people typing. So, and Joe Dog, we always get awkward on here. That's part of our appeal. So. And anyway, we've got more stuff here. We will try to catch up with your comments here and expressive poetry. Yes, and yes, I'm getting the ones I see. We thank you all for your support, all your comments, and everyone can read them in the comment line. We do keep the comment line open on the reruns. Especially on YouTube. So yeah. And I am definitely not going to read your comment there, Christian. Anyway, and Dorothy Nichols, glad to have you here. Hello. And let's see here. And Willow Schuyler says, Molly. Oh, okay, Molly's talking to Molly. We all love Willow. Check out Willow's Pillow Talk. Always every week, and she's always fun. Get on the pillow with Willow. And Mark Holmes says, here we are, veterans of the digital wars. Yeah, it's bloody combat.
I'm getting ideas. I'm always getting bad ideas.
I am too. I think we're going to see a whole bunch of books from both of our companies in the immediate future. Yeah. And Eric Hawkins says, I'll see if I can dig up the article on the cover. The seller made it sound completely different than what actually happened. His shirt was pulled down. Well, and I got to tell you, Disney has a great strategy. Because my buddy here, Eric, who does a wonderful comic book, The Zombieful World of Oz, it's a super book. It really is. I know the editor personally, but anyway, he did a print of them. He does these shows like Drawn and Quarterly, where they draw various characters on a theme. And one week it was the Mandalorian, and Eric executed a beautiful Mandalorian illustration, and he put it in a print, and he sold it on Etsy. Well, Disney found him and sent him the cease and desist, and of course Eric complied. And then they followed it up with, oh, and by the way, if you see anyone else doing this sort of thing, would you let us know?
No.
It's like, F you, Disney. Let me sell my Mandalorian. At least give me a good price for my soul.
Right?
Let's see. And Scott Crocker, here we go. A good point here. I do want to point out that you can, in fact, trademark a color. There are specific colors. For example, Coca-Cola owns the specific colors for it. If Coke finds out it's cease and desist time, I believe they can get a trademark for specific use.
You can trademark for like certain Pantones,
right?
Like very specific, but you can't just trademark red.
Right. Yeah. and this happens all across various IPs, like Cookie Monster. The Children's Television Workshop have a specific Pantone color for the shade of fur that he has, and they're very specific about it with their licensors. So, and let's see, we've got, and here we go. Rick Bradley says, Digital Wars. I've seen Robot Jocks, and I have played Nintendo for over 30 years. I've got this. You're the hero this world needs, Rick Bradley. God bless you, young man. God bless you. And Fighting Wars digitally, Star Trek the original series already had that episode. And Dorothy Nichols says, yeah, Eric Hawkins snitches get stitches. So so there we go. And let's see. Oh, here we go. Joe Dog McKeel says, how do I feel today? Not today, Satan. I've got this one covered all by myself. So anyway, let's go back and see if we've got any comments that we can read. Christian, I saw your comment there. Screw you. Anyway, so and yeah, from the Legend of the Traveling Podcatheter for Pissy Podcast. That's right, by God. So, and yeah, while you were gone, I told JT Malloy I wasn't going to read the link to his Kickstarter campaign. So, and anyway, Molly's getting some help for her book. I'm glad to see that. Sorry we can't read it on the air, Molly. And Indiegogo's Trust and Safety Committee from John Silvestri, great illustrator and writer. Trust and Safety Committee deemed my mature Bloodwing Angel Chronicles as pornographic and threatened to withhold my funds unless I censored my images. That was after my campaign had ended. Yeah, it run for what, 30 days, and they just now noticed. Because, John, I don't know if you've seen Bloodwing Angel, Kara, but John went and studied, the original text, the original Bible, and, angels were kind of like... I don't know how to describe it, but they had the sexual apparatus of both genders, and he drew it as such. It was not drawn in its cartoon. It's a cartoon, and it is not drawn to raise any sort of what we used to call prurient interest.
Okay.
And if somebody can get a little stiffy watching this thing, then good on you. Emphasis on little, but it was not done in any sort of titillating way, and yet something like this, can get squashed after the campaign has run. And Joe Dog McKeel has been having problems with messages that he did like 2 and 3 years ago, and Facebook is like right now saying, "Oh, by the way,
right,
we don't allow that sort of thing." It's like.
So
I understand it on the moment, but...
Well, and this is interesting because I've seen some comments here like, oh, put the link in the comments. Oh, do this, do that. I have been there, done that. Yeah. I am the person who tells other people to do that. But
who do you think I stole all this stuff from?
All is not fair in love and Facebook. I am being singled out in a lot of ways because I have a friend who started his Kickstarter in the exact same day that I did, who added a new stretch goal or a new add-on the same day that I did, and he is posting on his personal page, putting that link right up there, saying whatever he wants, and nothing. He's fine. But even putting the link into a comment, I had someone ask me once how much a print was in a comment to a post, and I told him, and they popped me because they said, you're not allowed to sell here. Like, they are targeting me and a few other people. I had a friend who's a photographer posting about his new deal that he's giving people because he wants to expand into natural light, blah, blah, blah. Like, here's a picture of my Chihuahua. Hire me because they won't let me show shit. There are people that are being singled out.
Yeah, which is, again, why it is very important that we share our messages with each other. Because, like, Kara was having problems, last week with, the initial announcements of 52 card pinup. And so I shared it. I didn't have any problems. Now, that's not to say like 2 or 3 years down the road, I'm going to get a nasty gram from Facebook.
This isn't about me like complaining, feeling like, oh, poor me. This is they're coming after me today. They're going after you tomorrow. When you have an idea and you want to share it and they tell you, no, you can't because we don't want you to exist in our world. And then they're going to go after your friends and their friends. And it's next thing you know, world domination. Like, am I so threatening that they have to be like, oh, we can't let that get out? And the thing is my friend is doing a calendar, and it's Lorenzo Sperlonga, beautiful, beautiful calendar of sexy women, of topless women, of nude women. And it's gorgeous. But because I'm an actual person and these are drawings, that could be part of it. But I know other people are getting popped too. Yeah. So they'll go after you. They will. A friend of mine just got all of his PayPal shut down and his Square shut down and his Etsy shut down. Every single store shut down.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Holy cats. That is frightening. Well, I can see where you might attract attention because simply of the volume of messages that you have. But even then, that would be if I were running a big social media conglomerate, I'd be contacting you and asking how I could latch onto what you're doing. How could
people contact me all the time. And yeah. I tell them what they can do. Everything's personal though. Everyone's campaign is different. Right. So, I'll look over their campaign, throw them a few words of advice, or refer them to someone that I trained to do this, because it's always flowing. Like, there is never a tried and true, do it this way. You're always pivoting and adjusting and algorithms. And this is the craziest maze I've ever been to. Send me back to the corn.
Yeah. Oh, Friendster, wherefore art thou? And Cindy Kemp says, if you target well with enough dollars to back it, Facebook ads get out to a lot of folks. Yeah. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't give you a whole lot of training in how to do it. You have to spend a little money in order to figure out how to target.
Well, and no one's talking about it. Have you noticed that? Google some of these things. You will never find anything. If you do, it's from years ago. Like, they're very good at covering their tracks. There are no articles about what's going on. There's no one putting any information out there about how to go around it. And everything I read, I'm like, no, wrong, weak, been there, done that. It's all crap.
Yeah, I see a lot of these too that, of course, I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel, for mercenary reasons, but, and not just my own, but it's like, look at the people who, this is my advice, look at the people who are giving the advice and see where they are. Like, if, you see somebody that says, I'm going to turn you into Stephen King, guaranteed New York Times bestseller list every time you release a book, and this is their first book, you might want to run away screaming. But if, somebody like me says, I tell people when I give advice, I can't teach you to be Stephen King. I can't teach you to be James Patterson. I could probably manage your social media better than J.K. Rowling can right now, but that's not much of a, that's not much of a promise. But you won't have less people liking you. But I can teach you how to be Brian K. Morris. I can show you the things that I have done that have worked for me, and you're invited to try the same thing. So, there's a lot of experts out there, but, you see somebody like Cara, who is, even with, the throttling of, your messages, you still made your goal in Kickstarter. So that's
right. But those goals aren't really your goals, like your goals actually very different. So now, back at the cereal box, he said that we promote with Facebook ads and it's been very effective. And you know what? Mine used to be very effective too. Yeah. And now they're less effective. And now they're like, oh, they want you to pay. Okay, here's my ad. Denied, denied, denied. I've had them run ads and never show them to anybody. You've spent $0. Why is my ad approved if I've spent $0? And I'm actually the one that will go in and target to certain audiences and interests. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. And I've even worked with people who work on social media for large corporations and even small businesses that look at my stuff and say, we can't touch you. Like, there's nothing we can do to help you. And there is definitely more. That's what I'm saying. This is not a one size fits all. Everybody is different and every account is different. Your Facebook ads might be great today. Give it 8 months and then see what happens. Also, are you aware that when you promote with Facebook ads, yes, we'll show your stuff now, but the minute you stop paying, we're not letting anybody see it, because now we can trick you into giving them more money. So make sure you time your ceasing of paid promotions with a time that you can handle a severe drop in visual abilities online. So make sure you time that. Like, you cannot have that drop at a time when you need it to be seen. You got to kind of have a break from it.
Exactly. Yeah, and are you like me that you spend probably more time trying to figure out where the goalposts have been moved than actually?
And they're not being farther out. They're all over the damn place.
Oh yeah.
Like, the goalpost was here, and you think, okay, farther back. No. It's like,
yeah. And the thing is, like, Facebook for a number of years now has had a way where you can monetize your videos on Facebook, but they keep changing. Like they were going for 3 minutes for a while. Now they're favoring the 1 minute, or then they move it to 10 minutes. It's like, that's why I've given up on trying to do anything monetization wise on Facebook, whereas YouTube is fairly. They've only changed one thing, a major thing in the last couple of years, and that's engagement. It used to be number of subscribers and number of views, but now they're looking at engagement.
Well, and then you have all of these videos, and I hate them so much. Hey, everybody, it's me. And then they spend like 3 minutes saying nothing. I'm a magician. Look what I'm going to do. Nothing. Commercial. Yeah. And then you have to wait. And I'm like, I don't even care. I will start putting, I don't want to see this anymore, because get to the damn point. Yeah. Or I'm going to tell you how you can do this very special thing. So stay tuned. Now I'm going to do this in just a few minutes. So, it's very special. You're going to, and it's like 20 minutes of, them saying, stay tuned. It's like my attention span is not that good anymore. So, and JT Malloy says, yeah, I'd have been lost AF on my first Kickstarter without Cara. Her advice is invaluable. That is so true. And Joe Dog McKeel says, being singled out, you got on their radar because someone is continuously reporting you. Do you think that could be it? Oh, absolutely. I had a good 5 to 8 years where I was being reported constantly. Yeah. And, and some of it may not be simply because you're attractive or they don't like the kind of material they think you're putting out. I say they think you're putting out. I want to make that very clear. But simply because you're succeeding. I get that a lot, and I see that a lot in other people. Varian Grant and I use this analogy that I learned years ago about, crab fishing. You get one in the cage, you better keep that thing locked down tight, but you get a bunch of them in there, even two. As one tries to get out, the others will pull him back in, or they will even dismember or kill that one to keep them from getting out. And then when they try it, the same thing happens to them. So, and a number of people are like that. That's why we get trolls on, our pages. I've had somebody who for the last 2 months has been putting a thumbs down on my stuff, and they don't realize that it's funny because it actually does help, because it's seen as engagement. So yeah, no, I'll take it. Like, whatever. Yeah, and if you're judged by the caliber of your enemies, so be it. JT Malloy says, yeah, there's a few comments that are like suggesting checker moves when Cara can play 4D chess. No offense, y'all, just saying she knows what she's doing. Yeah, folks, Cara's one of those people, when you see her come onto a show, get your pen and paper out and start taking notes. You know what I'm saying? And let's see, here we go. And, I think we've just increased somebody's education. Christian Illusionist Jake Lindsay didn't know what a vibrator was until you mentioned it, Cara. So sorry, Jake. But it's best you hear it from friends. Okay. Yes. Actually, my grandparents, there used to be ads in magazines and even comic books for vibrators, but they were for use in sore muscles. Yeah, they're for sore muscles. Yeah, some are more sore than others.
Yeah, exactly. There's muscles there too, by God. So anyway, Bill Sargent says, Karen Nicole, this is the learning place, people. Sorry, Jake. Anyway, Karen Nicole said, sadly, the way you're being targeted by the Facebook stormtroopers, you will just need to leave their platform and seek other social media venues. They will permanently shut down all your pages. It's happening every day to those who aren't posting controversial things, but they target you with certain words that you've previously used in your posts. That could be. But the thing
like
is,
A, I, me, you.
yeah, you use vowels in your. You had a vowel movement in your last post.
I love that. You had a vowel movement.
I know, you never know what's coming out of my face, and sadly, neither do I. But anyway, but yeah, it's like, and social, social standards change, language changes. But when you can get somebody who is, and we have seen this in the last 16 months, how much disinformation is out there, about, the Miley Cyrus, Peter pandemic, politics, to where now, even if you post something that even remotely looks like any of that, Facebook is and YouTube are going to put up a warning that you're talking about this stuff. And you need to do the research, which sadly 99% of the people posting this stuff don't do. So, it's that's why we need more humans to interpret what we do. Somebody should be.
Can we trust them too? Can we trust them? I had someone walk up to my booth at a show and say, "Excuse me, is this porn?" I'm like, "Do you see anyone fucking?"
Yeah. And if you're running porn, you're certainly not going to be subtle about it.
Right. Okay. So I saw this meme that, you brought up about the false information, and someone had posted a screenshot of a meme, and it said, "Guys, if your woman grabs a knife in an argument, grab a jar of mayonnaise. Her feminine instincts will kick in, and she will just make you a sandwich." And It got one of these false information tags on it that says, "False information checked by independent fact checkers. See why. Do not do this. She will definitely stab you."
No, actually, she'll make you dinner, so try it.
I'm like,
anyway,
my sandwich.
Yeah, try this at home. Yeah. See, that's why Kara and I never disagree on anything, because I've got little sandwiches around here I can use, so it's fine. So anyway, no, actually, Kara would just choke me, and I would have to sit here and let her. So anyway, and Jake, we're sorry if we opened your eyes about something, and we apologize if we shocked you. Dorothy Nichols says, when they post those warnings on everything, it makes it look like nobody is reliable. And Rick Bradley is owning up to that meme. Yes, and Rick Bradley is also the one who shared that meme, what is it, about a year ago, about Funko Pops ending their line of products. And when you click on the article, if you clicked on the article, that's another issue we could get into, it took you straight to a Rickroll. I thought it was hilarious. The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS says, question, how do we trust the social media giants from telling us what is right and wrong? And what if they get it wrong? How much accountability should they have? Kara, I'm going to throw this to you. I've got my own opinion, but it's a super question.
They have about as much accountability as your doctor. How many times have we gone to the doctor and they've been wrong and nobody cares, and the insurance company doesn't come and say, I'm not paying for your wrong stuff. No, they have no accountability. They will never have any accountability. Oops, my bad. You notice people don't even apologize anymore. They say, my bad. Guess what? My bad is not an apology. It's fucking garbage.
Exactly. And this sort of manipulation has happened for decades, even before social media, just in the media itself. Bernard Goldberg wrote a series of excellent books, in fact, based on his time working at CBS News, where he realized that the news, we all grew up thinking news was supposed to be impartial. Yeah, I got disabused of that notion when I took my first journalism class, because it's filtered through human beings, and you choose what is going to get reported, and it's just simply become more blatant in recent years. So go with what George Carlin once said: question everything. Definitely do your research. Give Snopes a workout. Talk to your talk to people you trust, and see what they say. You can't believe everything you see. And I personally, occasionally I do see social media becoming more responsible, and I think we've seen a little bit of it in the last few months, but only in the terms of politics. But not so much in the realm of science, where I'm really concerned these days, obviously.
Well,
So
the problem with science, though, is that people think it's hard, true facts, and it's not. Science is always learning, and when you start treating science like a religion, we have a problem. You have to recognize that science is not true or false, because there was a time when science said that smoking was good for you. There was a time that science said that putting Listerine in your cooter was the thing to do. There was a time that science said all of these things, and science is evolving. If you're going to question anything, question science. And that doesn't mean you're wrong. It means let's look at the situation. Let's see what the arguments are.
Exactly. Yeah, science changes its mind based on new information.
All the time.
Should be the same. Yeah, and I remember reading books on when the first cars were being introduced in America. Of course, it was the horse and buggy industry, which was, of course, huge because that's how people got around. They were saying if you go faster than 20 miles an hour, the air will leave your lungs and you'll die. And I'm serious, but it's like you have to consider the source too. And this is not a popular person to quote, but I'm going to quote something I heard Rush Limbaugh say one day on his show. He said, and this was early in his career before he became a performer. He said, question everything you see, read, or hear, especially me.
Like he told you. He told you.
Yeah, exactly. And because sometimes, like science, we can get it wrong. So, when people want to fact check me, I dig it because then I learn too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I've had my mind.
The beauty of science is that it isn't always learning and growing and, situation.
Exactly. Now, Willow quotes some science here and refutes a popular theory. A comedian once said to strip down naked if your wife starts an argument. That way she'll be too distracted. Well, that doesn't work here. Well, you ought to try it in my house. It does work here. Anyway, but I'm not saying I'm the one that is the effector here. Anyway, can we get Jon Stewart to tell everyone your content is okay? Then maybe they'll stop messing with you, says JT Malloy. Yeah, you probably should be going for the big celeb endorsement. So anyway, do not. They just want to make money on your outrage, says Dorothy Nichols. Well, that's the thing right now. I remember seeing a few months ago that YouTube had started, and this show is going to YouTube. Please subscribe and like. Anyway, but they were, like when you reach a certain point where you're monetized, you get ads inserted into your videos. They were putting ads in and around videos that weren't monetized yet.
I remember that.
Yeah, so like I said, the goalposts keep shifting here, and you've got to be aware of it. If any of everyone I'm looking at in the comments here, I'm seeing authors, I'm seeing stage performers, I'm seeing broadcasters. We all need to be aware of this and be on our guard because it's like that old thing about they came for the Jews and I said nothing. They came for the gypsies. I said nothing. And someday there may be a point where there's nobody to say anything because they're coming for us. And why do people rickroll? That is the dumbest thing ever. Joe Dog, we're no strangers to love. No, never mind. But anyway,
yes.
On this show, you're not safe. And back in the Zero Box says, if you want accountability, you need to stand behind Ted Cruz, who is trying to hold social media and giant tech accountable. Ted has his own issues that he needs to be held accountable for. And Skullcracker says, you certainly want to stand in front of Ted. After all, he is the Zodiac Killer. See? That's it. And that is one thing. You can make outrageous claims about somebody. See Jerry Falwell versus Larry Flint. That is a great case. Are you familiar with that, Kara?
I'm not as familiar with it as I would like to be, but I am aware of it.
Okay, I can give it to you real quick. So that's what she said. Anyway, but no, back in the 70s, Hustler magazine, published by Larry Flint, was running a series of fake ads based on the Campari rum ads, My First Time. And he had done one about the Reverend Jerry Falwell, about how Falwell, his first time was with a chicken inside an outhouse. And it was only made palatable by the fact he was drinking this rum. And Falwell sued him. And Larry Flint actually won the case because and it went to the Supreme Court, saying that the claims that Mr. Falwell or Mr. Flint gave were so outrageous that no rational person would believe they were true. So it doesn't fall under the slander or libel laws. And John Oliver had a good thing on this a couple of years ago with a mine owner, and it was all about the slap laws. But it was basically after winning the case, John Oliver did a 5-minute musical FU to the guy by accusing him of being the Zodiac Killer, of dipping his naughties inside hot dog vendor water, and all kinds of terrible things. Like he killed Jeffrey Epstein. Just like it's a 5-minute wonderful video with dancers, and and I can't say some of the things that were said in that video, but it's worth looking out for. So anyway, welcome to Molly Dale says, welcome to the BKM Safe Space. You can ask anything. Yeah. And the problem is we'll answer you. Rick Bradley says, I remember when people were saying that science wasn't working for the pandemic because it changed often. I'm like, that's how science works, people. It learns constantly and things change. Yeah, exactly. And Dorothy Nicole says, never trust anyone who won't take in new info and alter their opinions. You can trust us then, because I get my mind changed all of the dang time. And let's see, here we go. And Willow, that doesn't work for me either, says back in the stereo box. That train left our house a long time ago. Amy Hale, author AmyHale.com, says, yes, science evolves as we learn. People shouldn't be chastised for asking questions, which we've seen a lot in recent years. Yeah, we're almost back to the dark ages here. And here we go. And Scott Cracker says, can we stop making this conversation political? I see a lot of political stuff going around. This isn't a political issue. If we're talking about what Kara and I are talking about, it is to a large degree political. And we all need to keep informed, and especially remember the folks who are making it harder for all of us who might be in cahoots. So let's see. And here we got a controversy. Now we don't put these kind of controversial issues up here. Limp Bizkit, The Simpsons, Limp Bizkit sucked. Simpsons is only funny till season 8. My mind can be changed on everything else. Or JT Malloy, we're gonna have that discussion on Gravity sometime. Then. And the Legend of Traveling Tars BKM YouTube still does. They run ads on my promo video. I'm not monetized. I thought I was. Not cool, Susan. Not cool. Well, part of it is engagement. You need a lot of comments.
But they didn't used to do that. You have to actually have 4,000 hours of view time on your YouTube in order to be monetized. And that's not the way it used to be. So why is it that they can turn around and change the rules and I can't? I can't send them an email saying this is my new rules.
Yeah, exactly. And how many emails do you get a day where some service you subscribe to says, "Oh, we have changed our terms of service"?
Or raise their prices. That's what really pissed me off with Apple. They promised with iTunes, we will never raise our cost of music. And then they did. And when I called them out on it, they're like, well, people kept stealing in it. You didn't say in your contract that we won't change it as long as nobody steals it. You said we will never raise the price above 99 cents per song. Guess what? They did. They can eat my ass.
Yeah, exactly. And Amy Hale says, I used to write in the health diet field. The science and advice from 50 years ago has been proven to be a disaster, and yet they continue to push the same narrative because money. Exactly. And William Quinton, you're right. Even if you don't ask for, if you are monetized, you can control the ads to a degree. But otherwise, you have no control. Dorothy Nichols says Facebook or FBI and Secret Service raided Steve Jackson games over the Cyberpunk supplement for GURPS. That's right. I forgot about that. Thank you for reminding us of that.
Really? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, seriously. And Dorothy Nichols says people freaked out because they thought that they could use the book to learn to hack.
Oh, cheese and rice.
Well, no, the thing is, it does sound odd, but they used to, before there were computer hackers, there were what they called the phone freaks. And these were people that were hacking into the telephone system to get free calls. And one of the worst ones was a guy named Captain Crunch. And he wound up working for one of those telephone companies, by the way, because he was so good. One time he was in a payphone. There were two of them side by side. He managed to get, and this was free, how he did it. He managed to route his call completely around the world so it went to the phone next to him. So it shows, one, he's a genius, and two, he has way too much damn time on his hands. But how he did it, how he got started was he got Captain Crunch, they used to put that stuff in the cereal boxes, the little goodies. And Captain Crunch had a little whistle inside there. And Captain Crunch found that it perfectly matched the tones in a push button phone.
Okay.
And so he was using those tones from the whistle to hack into the system because they were thinking, "Oh, I'm using the keypad." It sounds ludicrous, but it's true. So, and the Legend of Traveling TARDIS says, "I think the vaccine is actually hot dog water. We're talking Dodger Stadium." It's true. It is true. And from the Desmond Small Press Publisher, I can't wait until July 3rd. It'll be like hosting a to be continued episode. Yeah, with Kara and me, probably. Anyway, that's weird. My McCaffrey virus protection app just self-deleted, or did it? It was deleted from outside. And there we go. And thank you, Dorothy. Thank you. Everyone, please go to this right now. Every vote, every dollar you give to this campaign is a slap in the face to Mark Zuckerberg. So if you've got an issue with him, take it out. Support Kara and show him where to go. And here we go. Oh, and here's a good idea from Jake Lindsay. This might be something for a future campaign. Do you sell jumbo versions of your cards? I know a magician who might want them.
I don't know how big jumbo is, but I do have some stretch goals of oversized cards.
Ah, there we go. And but it's not him. He's an illusionist, not a magician. And sorry about that. Sorry about the mislabel. And YouTube says Joe Dog and McHale changed the terms of service a few months ago where they can run ads and not compensate you. Well, of course. And yet, Captain Crunch, Tony Tiger is the guilty one. That is a lie put in by the anti-Kellogg's people.
Man,
Okay?
now I want some Captain Crunch.
That's right. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I could use
writing with your mouth,
I know. Oh my God, that stuff's heavenly. Anyway, Carl Wilson says, "I'm really surprised that YouTube didn't do that before. They opened up a place to upload free videos. They pay for storage, etc. Surprised they wanted to charge on it. I know, right? Who'd have thunk?" But anyway, we have caught up with the comments, Kara, and thank you to everyone who has provide some great questions, some great comments. Sorry we could not get to each and every one of them, but the volume of it speaks to how wonderful our guest is, because she inspires your comments. And Jake Lindsay says jumbo cards are about the size of a textbook, Kara. Gosh. See, this is the learning place.
Well, if someone wants to hit me up, we can work something out.
You heard it from her. All right. And Eric Hawkins says, and Snopes is no better. They have moved to opinion based in the last few years as well. Bless you, Kara.
Thank you.
And in other words, don't trust nobody anywhere. But you can trust Kara because she does the research and she's a wonderful lady. And we are so glad that we're always tickled when you spend some time with us, Kara.
Well, I love hanging out with you. It's always my pleasure to get to hang out with you. We don't get to talk often enough. So
no, we don't. So anyway, and here we go. JD Malloy says my comments are hilarious. That's why I get shared. So anyway,
is that censorship I see?
I think so. Gosh, Zuckerberg, damn you to heck. Dang you to heck. Anyway, Legend of Traveling TARDIS in 5 minutes, the premiere of Simon Fisher Becker. Simon Says on the Legend of Traveling TARDIS. It's YouTube, YT Christian. Come on over after here and says, I love you. And yeah, comment, dump, engage. Yeah, we're in constant comment dump mode. But anyway, what we want to do is dump some love on Kara here. And please support 52 Card Pinup. It is a super, super project. You go there, and if you haven't fallen in love with Kara right now, you have no human soul. That's all there is to it. So, Kara, you want to take a moment? I'm going to give you the spotlight here. Please tell everybody how they can keep up with you. And give a little shout out to the project, if you would, please.
Okay, so I am CARA NICOLE. I'm known as AZ Power Girl. You can find me on social media at AZ Power Girl, Facebook.com/AZ Power Girl, YouTube.com/AZ Power Girl, and on OnlyFans, Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere as AZ Power Girl. You can also find me at azpowergirl.com, and CARA NICOLE on my personal page. Hit me up, message me, and pick up my deck 52 card pinup along with the book that corresponds with the collector's cards, and snag all those stretch goals.
Definitely. I'm going to be looking at that later today myself. So anyway, and I see that the animal portion of our audience is being represented. Good luck to Alfred for corralling them. Anyway, from that, one more comment. This is too good. It's Captain Crunch. Again, the slogan, "You and the Captain make it happen," does have another meaning. See? We pierce the truth on this show. We get you what you need to know. And no, I'm not reading that, Christian. No. But anyway, again, Kara, thank you so much. Please hang around for just a minute so I can say goodbye to you properly. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Appreciate you so much. And I hope you did too. I don't open up the morning show all that often, except for very special people. And Kara is certainly in that group, folks. Anyway, and you are too. Thank you all for your great comments and your great questions and such. I appreciate it. And I know Kara does too. And we hope that you have a great, great Friday. And let's say some thank yous. Like right now, we're going to say thank you to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. 7 days a week of entertainment and education. And tonight at 6 a.m., we'll be drinking with the Davies, where Ted and Chrissy tell you how to make a mint julep. You've heard about them. Now you can learn how to make this amazing drink. Then at 7 p.m. will be Michaela Jade's Tidbits and Scribbles, where we're probably going to hear about her trip to South Dakota and the great big signing she did there. So get your pen and paper ready and get ready to kickstart your campaign of making yourself more popular in the writing field. She's got the information. You'll want to write it down. Then at 8 p.m. is another great educational show, very entertaining. The Historical Fencing Guild on YouTube and Facebook. Nick Tucker will teach you how to kill your friends safely with bladed weaponry. Then tomorrow night at 11 p.m. is Stupid O'Clock, followed by Last Man Standing with Dan Holofield. And then Sunday is Heather Ellen's Comics, Chaos, and Sass. It's a great show. We've got great stuff all week long, so please check it out. And please give our Rising Tide Network page a like. And also, we want to give a thank you to Plasma Fire Graphics. When the look of your book matters to you, you'll want to hire Plasma Fire Graphics. They're talented and they're affordable. They did my latest book here, Snow Ambition, the fourth in the Snow Short series from Bobby Nash. Check it out at Ben Books on Amazon.com for only 99 cents. Also want to thank our Patreon subscribers. Patreon's a monthly subscription service where you can directly reward your favorite creators. And we love our Patreon people. And we think you'll like what we offer too. Go to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris and see the glories within. And again, folks, don't forget, check out 52 card pinup. It's a great, great project from the wonderful CARA NICOLE. Please, if you've enjoyed any part of the show, please check that campaign out and give it some love. Also, if you've enjoyed any part of the show on Facebook, please give us a like if you would, and give a like to the page you're watching it on as a thank you for them to host the show. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell so you'll be notified of any future appearances we make. And thank you to our new friends on Twitch. Glad to have you here. And now we're going to close out the show here as soon as I get down to the proper area. So everyone, folks, we're going to have a word from Plasma Fire Graphics, and then we're going to sign off. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend. Again, thank you to CARA NICOLE for being so amazing. And thank you for your ongoing support and watching this show and loving it, I hope. Anyway, as always, folks, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. We'll see you Monday morning on another Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 a.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.